Next up on the show, or next up on the In the Money Media YouTube channel, depending on where you are consuming this content, we're going to take a look at opening day at Monmouth Park. So great to have racing back on the Jersey Shore, one of my absolutely favorite places to spend a sunny summer afternoon back in effect. Monmouth Park also fantastic when it comes to contests. I'm sure if you're listening, you will have talked about that with Brian Skirka in the first format. But if you're just watching, make sure you check out the Monmouth Park website. You get their full schedule of events and entertainment and contests over there, monmouthpark.com. PTF back here with Jonathan Kinchin. JK, you will be on hand. Another big thing happening with the Monmouth shows with Monmouth Racing this summer. It's going to be featured on America's Day at the Races, the Fox broadcast, and it sounds like you're going to be in the house making an appearance on Saturday. I'm envious.
Yeah, I'm heading down on Saturday and be doing the overnight. The biggest obstacle I have is trying to get Lafitte Pinkai to come out to dinner with me. The dude he just is a tireless worker, and it's impossible to try to get him to do anything but work. But I told him if I come down to Monmouth with you for a couple of days, the requirement is you have to come to dinner. So let's see if he holds up to his end of the deal.
I like it. Federici's in Freehold. That might be a suggestion. One of Frank Miramati's favorite pizza joints. Very, very fun. There's loads of great stuff, though. It's one of the great things about a weekend down there at the shore. The racing is the center of it for me, but there's loads of other cool stuff to do as well. And the other thing we always tout, say they should be paying us by now, the Sea Streak ferry from Manhattan. Will you be taking the Sea Streak or will you be driving?
Man, I was gonna try to, but the one in the morning leaves at 10:30, which gets me there at like 11:40, and the show starts at 12:30.
Well, you never been late to work before? What's the big deal?
Oh no, certainly, but there'd be too much of a rush, so I ended up punting to the drive situation, which is unfortunate.
I'm going to find a day to do it. I'm going to get it booked. I got to look very carefully at the calendar. I cannot go too far with Monmouth Open without getting myself through that door. And there's some annoying conflicts this year on days that I typically go, including this opening day. But I'm going to get there very soon. And when I'm not there, I'm betting on the phone. I'm paying attention because it really is one of my favorite race meetings annually, and really admire everything they do down there in terms of creating a really fun customer experience. Let's talk about some of the horses that are going to win some of these races, JK. We'll look at the late pick 5 on opening day, starting with race number 6. We bring in the Jersey bred filly maidens going 5.5 on the dirt. How do you want to light this candle in terms of Monmouth's opening day, late pick 5?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's hard to know what to do with the two first-time starters, but if you look at their workouts, the 4 and the 6, you can tell that it looks like they've been working together. One at the farm, Overbrook Farm, and then once at Monmouth. And it seems both times by the times that the 6 Jewel of the Ocean worked better. So I'll use the Jewel of the Ocean. The 8 Allison Park is just a reminder that anytime I try to get cute and beat Paco, he usually beats me down at Monmouth. I'll use this horse defensively, the 8. But the top choice for me, I'm going to go to the outside with Blue Moon Tide. I do not know the number because I don't have it written down, but I can get there fast enough. 8, 9,
11.
10, 11. The 11. Blue Moon Tide, who I thought was has some nice tactical speed and has got a nice, comfortable outside draw for a bunch of lightly raced horses.
Yeah, I was going to go with Bella Artiste on a blood angle. The Dam won by 15 on debut, and that was a very good figure. The lone sibling to make it to the races also won first out. I take your point about the workouts, and you may well be right there, and I will be backing up with the 6. I'm going to throw in the 8 and the 11. They just make sense. They've run the par for the level, actually, which you don't often see in these Jersey bred maidens. So very, very interesting. But I wanted to go give this blood angle a try with the 4 Belle Artiste. We'll see how it plays out in the opening leg of the pick 5 as we pivot to leg B. 6 furlongs. It's an allowance race. And this is a spot where I thought number 7, River Dog, had an opportunity to be loose and has back races that are good enough to win. I also felt that that the 3 and the 4 looked very logical to potentially back up with. That's Cruising Derek and Grouch. Funny name. Those were the 3 that I liked in there. How do you see it?
Yeah, I only needed 2 in here. The 7 River Dog, who looks to be loose, according to Timeform US, and according to what I see on paper as well. The last race wasn't great, but gets 120 days off, a little freshening. and shows back up here, drawn well for this group to take advantage of that pace situation. And the 5 President Z, I think if you can ignore the last race, which is easy to do because it took place on a sloppy racetrack, that race 2 back is just a cut below River Dog. So if River Dog doesn't quite show up, I do feel like President Z will be right there to pick up the pieces. Those are the only 2 I'm going to use.
All right, we're a little bit the same. Same with the top pick, a little bit oppo in terms of the includes. We'll go to race number 8. This is the turf race scheduled in the sequence. $12,000 claimers, a mile and a 16th. I'll admit I only looked at it for turf, and I'm an optimist. There is supposed to be some showers, at least in New York City, forecast in the morning. I'm running a 10K, so I've been very on top of the weather here. But we'll see how it plays out. In terms of if this race stays on turf, JK, who do you like?
Yeah, I'm an optimist. I don't ever worry about races coming off the grass until they come off the grass. I just always think it's going to be on the grass. It's going to work itself out. I never even think about it until they say off the turf. This is a very spready race for me. It just feels like they're all very similar. I think the 2 Denying should work out a nice, comfortable pocket trip. A horse that Timeform US has close up, but if you look down at the paper, it doesn't feel like he's going to be that close. So it feels like the pace isn't going to be that quick in here. That should play right into that one's hands. Let's see, the 8, who I thought ran well last time on the grass, but hasn't run since December, so there's a little bit of question marks there. The 10, Citizen K, I want to make sure I have. The 11, if the 11 draws in. This is one of those spots where I'm just going to use as many possible horses as I can. And I think it's one of those situations when you have horses that are showing back up to a circuit or getting grass for the first time. Maybe they've been running in New York or in other places in the Mid-Atlantic, that it's hard to know because you're playing the guessing game of who's ready. You can find the forms, but a horse could have run the best race of any of these horses in August of last year, but that doesn't necessarily apply at all times. So this is one I won't try to get cute, and I'll use as many as I can.
2, 8, 10, 11 were the numbers you name check with Denying and Be Here, the 8, the 2 sounded like you like the most. Great point about meets starting now. We're seeing this too with our friends in the Great White North at Monmouth too, where horses are coming back. You're seeing more layoffs than average. Do you try to use any other tools to ascertain if these horses are going to be ready? Are you more inclined to listen to a paddock analyst? Are you more inclined to look at market signal? I know I am. It doesn't always work. Sometimes there's more noise than signal in those things, but because of that very phenomenon you said of all these layoffs, I do try to do whatever I can to get a little extra info. How do you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, to me, if you're not that familiar with the horse or like overly familiar with the connections, I think a lot of times you're still kind of playing a guessing game. You can look at someone's stats and see that off a 120-day break, they're 7 for 38. I don't know. What does that tell you? That they can't win? That they are going to win? I've gotten away from some of those situations. I think the individuals matter. Some horses don't get themselves ready in the morning. Chad Brown's amazing off of a layoff, but what if he's got a lazy horse that he has to train into? So it depends about the sequence. It depends about what wager I'm making, right? If I'm looking at the late pick 5, I've got no problem just not trying to answer that question and just covering what the horses I think can win this one and try to pick up my equity and value elsewhere.
For what it's like, I really do like number 2, Denying, coming out of a better race, moved into a hot pace there, well drawn, just consistently runs numbers capable of winning this. And sometimes, if you are willing to take a stand in a race where I think most people will be spreading, you can pick up equity in that regard as well. So, number 2, Denying for me. Let's go to race number 9, the Long Branch Stakes featured race of the day. 3-year-olds going a mile 70 with 100,000 in the pot. And given that I picked Pascaline in our Triple Crown draft, which I'm winning, by the way, for now anyway, I think I got to pick Pascaline here. And the horse just makes sense. Should be a really good fettle here. Second time off the layoff. Chased a slow pace last time. Got beat by a couple of good form yardstick courses in the Bayshore. All about Pascaline for me in the feature. Are you with me or against me?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Moplex is pretty darn good. And I think maybe Pascaline was playing a game that he doesn't want to play. Maybe a little bit longer is going to be better for him. So that's where I landed as well. I mean, I thought Kentucky Outlaw was good enough, was okay, but the blinkers on thing for a horse who I thought was a little bit ranked 2 starts back is a little interesting. So I was a little concerned about that. And I think that this race is going to probably have a little bit of built-in value because I'm not really sure how good Lordship is. And if this is the Monmouth of old, which I don't think it wouldn't be, when Todd or Chad or Christoph come south, they just take a little bit more money than sometimes they should. Win a lot of races there, but I think that Lordship off of that win with a slow figure at Tampa will probably be bet a little bit here. Now that horse could jump up, right? I mean, an unbelievable pedigree. I have to Hall of Fame, a talented older horse, but the 8 for me, I'll use 3, 6, 7 as like B types. I don't want to let the 3 beat me in terms of this multi, but the 8 will be a single A for me.
Okay, great. 3, 6, 7 is the backup. So I'm all about the 8. You're lone A the 8. So we're pretty much in lockstep in that one. And yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Lordship can win. Horse was bet very hard. It's not necessarily a negative when Chad Brown sends one to Tampa for a maiden, but not a great figure and a perfect setup, really. It was one of those situations where not breaking well might have actually helped the horse, in my opinion. I'm willing to fade and go all in with Pascaline. Let's get to our nightcap. We've got dime claimers here. Maiden claimers going 6 furlongs on the dirt. When it comes to this late pick 5 on opening day at Monmouth, JK, how are we going to get paid?
Yeah, I'm going to single A the outside horse. Some people might think that the Emirates Honor, I guess some people might think that's brave in a level like this. But one thing that I've kind of picked up on is that, people like to talk about 0 for 7 maidens, 0 for 12 maidens, 0 for 16 maidens. But the one thing that I do before I toss them into the hanger, don't want to win category is I want to look at the price of the run of races that they've been on. Because a lot of times when they're favored and they're running second, then I have no problem tossing him into that barrel. But when it's a situation like Emirates Honor, where in the last 2 races the horse was 5-2 and 3-1, the betting public said this horse was the second best horse, and he showed up and he ran like the second best horse. So I want to give a little bit of credit there that the horse is just doing what he's supposed to do in the races he's supposed to do it in. I think he'll be favored in here as a horse that's finally found his friends. And I think he's got a nice, comfortable outside draw as well for horses like these maiden claimers, these cheap maiden claimers. You don't really want to throw them in the pocket. You don't want to put them in between horses. You don't want to have them on the lead getting pressure from their outside. You want it to be the less adverse as possible, and I think an outside draw helps this one. So I'll single A there, and I'll use the 1 lock barrel and the horse Mano y Mano as B horses.
I get it. It is bold to go lone A there. Emirates Honor is a clear A for me, but not my top choice. I mean, this is the figure horse very clearly. Not exciting, but you can't fade. But for all the reasons you were just saying. But here is a situation where no horses have run the par. And whenever that happens, I look extra hard at the firsters. And I think the 3, Dave the Great, is a little bit interesting. One of the 2 siblings to make it to the race is one on debut. The Sharp S Tekka numbers are not good with first-time starters. They're like decidedly subpar. I just wasn't sure it mattered against this group. I was pretty much willing to go with the 3 and the 8 as A's. I will back up with Mano a Mano. Mano a Mano has not hit the board in 10 tries, but it's a new low level. It's Potts, who, while he's been cold this year, we know he goes on streaks. The horse is in light with Elliott, who's a rider I really like, and this horse might be the best speed and get a really easy trip too. So 3 and 8 for me on the A line, 7 on the B line for JK, 8 on the A line, 1 and 7 backing up. And that's going to do it. You can check out JK and the Fox team. Do you know when you'll be on full card? Do you know the deal?
No, I honestly think we're on from 12:30 to 2. I think we have a break from 2 to 4. Well, I'll probably get a hot dog, and then on from 4 to 5:30 maybe for us at Monmouth. But I think Aqueduct will be on longer. Honestly, I'm not really sure. I just know
Figure
that
it out.
we're
Check
on,
local
but,
listings,
yeah,
people.
there you go.
Let us know what you think of Monmouth Park. Give us your opinions down in the comments. I'm sure we have people out there with great stories about, as I've said, one of my absolute favorite racetracks. Great place to spend a day. Let us know what you think of these races as well. Make sure you subscribe to the In the Money Media channel. We are so close to our next subscriber goal of 12,500. We should blow by it by the Preakness, but we can't do it without your help. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right there and click notifications if you don't want to miss any of our YouTube exclusive content. If you're listening on the podcast side, I'll be back in a second with a close, but good seeing you, JK, and have a great time at Monmouth.